In the beginning, there was one world, and that world was called Luminos. 5 kingdoms, 5 powers, 5 lights burning against the dark. A kingdom of endless ocean, glowing blue as far as the eye could see. A kingdom of fire and molten rock, where the earth itself burned with purpose. A kingdom of ancient forest, so alive it could breathe. A kingdom of storms, where the sky crackled with electric gold. And beyond them all, the shadow void. Cold, hungry, patient. They were held together by the great crystal. 5 Lumishards, 1 for each kingdom, 1 heartbeat for the whole world. 500 years ago, someone broke that heartbeat, and the darkness has been waiting ever since. In the small mountain village of Stormhaven, life was simple. Warm bread in the morning, markets by noon, and one boy who could never quite leave well enough alone. His name was Kael Brightstone, 16 years old. Big dreams, bigger heart, and absolutely no idea what he was doing. He had a gift for lightning, small sparks, crackling energy, the kind of power that was supposed to be impressive. It was mostly just destructive. His best friend and partner in chaos was Sparks, a tiny electric fox the size of a shoe, with a tail like a lightning bolt, and the attitude of someone 3 times his size. Together, they were a disaster. A very lovable, very loud disaster. But underneath all of that, underneath the jokes and the singed eyebrows and the apologetic grins, Kael was searching for something he'd been missing for 5 years. His father's name was Brightstone, a mapmaker, an explorer, a man who believed that the lost Lumishard fragments were real, and that finding them was the most important thing anyone could do. 5 years ago, Darren kissed Kael on the forehead, handed him an old map, and walked toward the horizon. He never came back. No word, no sign, no body. Just silence. Kael kept the map. He kept the locket, a painted portrait of his father's face, warm and smiling like he always was. And every night he sat on this hill and made the same quiet promise. "I will find you, Dad. I don't know how yet, but I will find you." Sparks didn't understand words, but he understood the feeling, and on those nights, he never left Kael's side. The next morning brought 2 strangers to Stormhaven, and nothing was ever quite the same after that. First came Lyra Mossvale, an elf from the Verdant Kingdom, far from home and walking like she owned every road she stepped on. Elves didn't come to human villages often. The villagers made that very clear with their stares. Lyra made it equally clear she didn't care, or at least, she was very good at looking like she didn't care. Then there was Brom Ironhoof, half-dwarf, full appetite, 0 social filter. He waved at Lyra like she was his oldest friend. Mouth full of meat pie, crumbs on his chest. It was the most genuine welcome she'd received in months. And then there was Kael, who walked up, hand out, and simply said hello. No staring, no whispers, just hello. Lyra shook his hand, gave a small nod, decided he was acceptable. She would later admit this was one of the better decisions she ever made. Not everything that glows is warm, but Solene was. Warm the way old things that have seen too much darkness are warm, like the last ember in a long fire. She didn't explain everything. Ancient spirits rarely do. What she told Kael was this: the world was waking up to something it had forgotten. A man who had once tried to fix everything with force was returning, and the only thing standing between Luminos and total shadow was 5 small crystals scattered across 5 kingdoms, and a 16-year-old boy with a crooked lightning trick and a map he'd never stopped carrying. Kael's pendant glowed when she touched it, like it recognized her, like it had been waiting for this exact moment. When Solene disappeared, she left behind the kind of silence that has weight to it, the kind that means nothing is the same as it was 5 minutes ago. Kael looked at the glowing fragment in his hands, then at his map, then at the horizon. He already knew what came next. And then the sky broke. Not slowly, not politely, It tore, like paper, like cloth, like something that was never meant to hold. And from the crack came cold and dark, and something that had been locked away for 500 years. Malvoros. Even as a shadow, even as a shape in the dark, the weight of him was enormous. Tall, unhurried, the kind of stillness that isn't peaceful at all. The kind that means something terrible is very sure of itself. He didn't attack. He didn't need to. He simply looked down at the village, down at the people running, down at the 3 children standing still in the middle of the panic. He saw Kael, and he smiled. Cold as stone, slow as ice. The crack sealed itself a moment later, like a curtain falling. But the cold stayed, the fear stayed, and Kael's legs, which had been shaking, stopped. His jaw locked. He wasn't afraid anymore. He was decided. This was the moment. The one everything before had been building toward. Kael had spent 5 years sitting on that hill, holding his father's locket, wishing he could do something. And now, here it was. A direction, a purpose. He presented it to Lyra and Brom with the seriousness of someone who had, in the last 30 minutes, watched the sky crack open and met a glowing, ancient spirit. Lyra didn't do big emotional speeches. She examined the map, assessed the situation with those sharp green eyes, gave a single decisive nod, and picked up her staff. That was how Lyra said yes. It was somehow louder than shouting. Brom did shout. Brom always shouted. He grabbed his hammer, declared himself the greatest adventurer in the history of all 5 kingdoms, and then asked if there was time to grab one more meat pie for the road. There wasn't. He went anyway. He was back in under 30 seconds. And then they were 3, plus one small electric fox who had decided this was his adventure just as much as anyone else's. The road ahead was long. The stakes were real. The odds were not good. None of them cared. Far away, very far away, in the dark place where light has never been, in the cold space between worlds, something ancient opened its eyes. Malvoros had waited 5 centuries for this. He had watched, he had planned. He had endured the silence and the cold and the long, slow wait of being forgotten. And now a boy with a glowing pendant and a worn map was walking toward the very thing Malvoros needed most. And now the pieces were finally moving. One word crossed his lips. Quiet, certain, inevitable. Finally. The shadow void pulsed. And somewhere far below, a small crystal pendant flickered with cold red light. Just once. Then faded. The world had no idea what was coming.